Hello, hi everyone. Right, so this channel is usually about comic books, movies, video games, and stuff like that. Usually modern stuff, right? So today I'm going to be talking about Scooby-Doo games, which is different. And I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad one, but it's something that I wanted to talk about because Scooby-Doo games are fucking awesome. I want to talk about them. I've been wanting to talk about them for ages, and now I can finally do that. But yeah, without further ado, let's cue the intro and get this train wreck a-rolling.
What's the Scooby-Doo? We're coming after you. You're gonna solve that mystery. I see you, Scooby-Doo. The trail leads back to you. What's the Scooby-Doo? What's the Scooby-Doo? We're gonna follow you. You're gonna solve that mystery. We see you, Scooby-Doo. We're coming after you. What's the Scooby-Doo? Don't look back. You may find another clue. The Scooby snacks will be ready.
So the first Scooby-Doo game that was actually released, to my knowledge, or the first one that was released to any kind of acclaim, Scooby-Doo and the Cyberchase for the PS1, a game that I have yet to play because I've yet to actually own or use a PS1 in any respect or way, apart from a PS1 that my cousins owned that I used to play on whenever I was over there, but they never had Scooby-Doo and the Cyberchase. I only learned about the game after the fact, but essentially what it was a very bare bones kind of Crash Bandicoot clone, but you got to play as Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, which is, you know, a trend that you'll see going forward. But yeah, essentially it was a very bare bones Crash Bandicoot clone game, which was based off of the movie of the same name, Scooby-Doo and Cyberchase, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty abysmal, apparently, according to most people. Apparently it has a cult following now, but at the time, it was, you know, it's not a good game, any stretch of the imagination. Then we move on to the PS2 era. The PS2 brought out some really, really solid Scooby-Doo games. Right, boys, my childhood was filled with this game. It's the best game ever made. It is not in this stack of games. Right, technical difficulties here. It's not in that stack of games. Jump cut. Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. This is Scooby-Doo Unmasked. I've picked up, but yeah, we have Scooby-Doo Unmasked. I'm not sure which one came first. I'm going to talk about Unmasked first because it's the one that I picked up. It was essentially Sly Cooper. It was a Sly Cooper clone, and therefore it was insanely good. The thing is, though, I never got very far in it. I got about to the second boss fight and then gave up because it was too hard. And I keep looking at clips of other people playing it, and they've got like their health bar is really long, and they're like super good at the game because they've got more health. I never found out how to get more health. How do you get more health? Apparently there's like other levels that you can go to. I only went to the ones that you have to do. I didn't know that you could get more health. I thought you just had the three hit points throughout the game. Apparently not. But yeah, the game is very good, very fun. It doesn't really like have that much of a story, and there's a lot of glitches. But the game is essentially just Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, and it's very, very good at being that. It doesn't do it and try to be anything that it's not, and the platforming's tight and solid, although a little bit floaty, but it's a solid game. Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem is something that is like very much like nothing I've ever played before, and it is a very weird very weird game. It's essentially it is a mystery game, essentially. It's not an action title. You can't actually punch things, or you can't like attack them with your paws, but you can suck up ghouls and ghosts and goblins in this book that Shaggy is holding there. If the light like shines on it properly, there you can see a book that he's holding, and yeah, that does suck up ghouls, ghosts and goblins, and that's kind of the main point of the game. You're supposed to suck up ghouls, ghosts and goblins, fill up this book, and yeah, there's 5 levels in the game, which may sound ridiculously short. That is because the game is ridiculously short. It's 5 hours long, with the final level being like 3 of those 5 hours, and most of the game being, most of my playtime being on this stupid moped mission. And I'll put in like some clips of that. I'll put that in the probably overlay that over the commentary that I'm making now. But this stupid moped mission where you have to make like what seems like an endless journey, and it's essentially Temple Run on a moped in a swamp, and it's near enough impossible, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done. This is the Dark Souls of Scooby-Doo games right here, right now, and it is ridiculously fun, and it was my childhood. Without it sounding like this was like some really good game, which it wasn't, but it was my childhood, and it was fun, and it was infuriatingly frustrating. The last one, which I don't own, is Scooby-Doo and the Night of 100 Frights. It was either 100 or 1,000. Night of 100 Frights, Night of 100 Frights, in which there's only 5 monsters in the game, not 100. So really missed the bucket on that one. Essentially, it all takes place in this one like centralized area, which is like this castle, and then you go out to like a harbour that's near it, or something else that's near it, and it's a kind of platformer game, like kind of like a 3D Metroidvania kind of game. But it is very, when I did own it, and when I was playing it, I didn't get very far in it, but it was very dark. It was very dark and very black in a lot of the areas, and there was a lot of grey and a lot of mud and a lot of like not a lot of colour in Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights, and for something that's aimed towards children, it was very dark. It was very foggy as well. It was not. It did kind of have this like horror vibe that it was trying to go for, but you're playing as a talking dog, and it doesn't really work. But the core gameplay, in and of itself, is quite good. The only thing is, and the thing with all of these games, is that they insert the stupid laugh track from the show, and that's really, really dumb. I hate it. I don't like it at all. And can you get rid of it, please? Just go over there. Finally, we're going to talk about the 2 newest Scooby-Doo games. We've got First Frights and The Spooky Swamp, which were both this kind of both this kind of like kid-friendly kind of style, where it's like the really big heads, really lanky frames, really skinny, but essentially they were Lego games, and they were really fun. They were really good. They were kind of chapter based, beat 'em ups. Everyone had their own kind of special abilities, and Scooby-Doo attacks people with sausages, which is fun, and Shaggy attacks people with yo-yo, which is fun. The one problem that I had with Scooby-Doo First Frights is that in one of the final levels, where you have this mission where you have to find hidden clues, one of them can get trapped in the environment, and you'll be sat there trying to get it out, and you have to completely reboot your system to get it in. I had both the DS and PS2 versions, and both are exactly the same. The DS version is exactly the same as the console version, which is rare. I think this is the only game that actually does it. But yeah, very rare to see. I think the PS2 the console version had like an extra area in one of the levels of each like chapter. I don't know, but I think that was the case. Don't quote me on that, but I seem to remember there being a bit extra in the PS2 version, which is a very odd thing. Like, is there, like, you can only, like they had to shave a little bit off of each level in the DS version to be able to fit on the cartridge? I don't know. The Spooky Swamp, I never played it, but from what I've seen, it looks a lot like the, a lot like First Frights, but instead of having the chapter layout, it's a lot more like open world, and I think it looks fun. It looks okay, but it's exactly the same as First Frights, like to the letter. And the thing is, at the end of First Frights, it leaves it on a cliffhanger, and the sequel game doesn't explore the cliffhanger that is in First Frights, which I thought was a bit of a mixed bag. As opposed to where Scooby-Doo games are now, we haven't seen Scooby-Doo appear in a game since I don't know, Lego Dimensions, and even then it's just a guest appearance. I don't think he has a level in the game, which is weird because the fucking Simpsons have a level in the game, and so does what's her face, fucking Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz has a level in Lego Dimensions. I think it's the first level. What the fuck's up with that? But we haven't seen Scooby-Doo appear in his own game for a while, which is really weird, considering how many other like kid shows have games. You know, you could put out like several of those games in the style of First Frights on the Switch, and they would go down a storm, because Scooby-Doo's still popular. He's still around. He's always gonna be there. Like, when I'm dead, Scooby-Doo will still be on telly, because he's been on telly like since before I was born, and will be after when my kids are born, and will be like after I'm dead, after my kids are dead. There will always be like this talking dog with a bunch of pesky kids who are probably in their 30s now, so I don't get how they can be called you stupid kids, you dumb dog. Because in the reality of things, like, if you look at Fred, he doesn't look like a teenager, does he? He looks like a man in his 30s. You look at Matthew Lillard in the Scooby-Doo movie, he doesn't look like a pesky kid. He looks like he has a goatee beard. I think. I don't remember, but I think he had facial hair. Well, he had long hair. I think he looked like at least 25, and Freddie Prinze Jr. looked at least like in his early 30s in that film. They're not kids. Like, if you think about it, Like, literally speaking, they should not be your pesky kids and your dumb dog. They should be your pesky middle-aged people and your dog that's just been put in the pound and is about to be put down. Like, that's what it should be now. It should just be like Mystery Inc. retirement home. And instead of Scooby-Doo, they've got like 4 of Scooby-Doo's kids, and like it's like they've got to look after the 4 kids whilst they're all like old people, and they're just like running after these like rambunctious dogs. And it's like that's what you're watching now. That's what it should be, but instead it's like comic books. The characters don't age, and Scooby-Doo as a dog just never ages throughout like 300 episodes. Where at the end of episode 100, he should be like dying or be put down. And I think that would make for a more interesting like premise. Just to be like, right, we've got all these mysteries to solve, and we've got to solve all these mysteries before our magic talking dog cops it. Like, that's what it should be, but instead it's just, oh, let's solve the mystery gang, and although we're in our like mid-30s, we're still being called kids. Oh, hey. But yeah. Scooby-Doo is a major part of my childhood. I thought I'd just share it with you guys, and it kind of relates to Halloween month, kind of. So you can kind of take this as my spooky special, ish, kind of. Nah, I don't know. You can if you want. I mean, you can if you want. You know, it's not really spooky, scary, or I'm not even in my onesie. So, you know, who knows? But yeah, that's the end of my video. If you enjoyed it, do click that like button. Do hit subscribe. Do click on all when you click on that notification button, which is a stupid button and shouldn't be there, but it is there. So just click it, because if you don't get my videos. Leave a comment. Comments are always nice. They're always nice to get, you know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Notification button, which is a stupid button and shouldn't be there, but it is there. So just click it, because if you don't get my videos. Leave a comment. Comments are always nice. They're always nice to get, you know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.